So we did breakfast at my parents instead of dinner is all that was different.
Oh, okay.
Flip flopped it.
Cool.
So
And JoJo couldn't hang. She fell asleep.
yeah.
So did Delaney. I have almost the same picture of Delaney. We went to my cousin's house next door, and Delaney fell asleep for like an hour and a half on their couch. It was so funny.
Oh yeah, JoJo crashed pretty good.
That's funny.
But well, her little cousin though, she crashed even earlier than that. They had already left, but she's only 3, so that's understandable.
Yeah.
I had
That's funny.
And then I took a nap.
I like your gauges, Chris. Those are gonna look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still got one more to go.
How much of an issue was it to do that?
It's not too bad. The hardest part is just getting the needle off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And lining it back up right again afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So it's funny how you got to pop it off. You got to take like a couple of forks, slide them underneath from both ends, and pry it up. Pop it off.
Oh, wow. Will you have your speedometer checked after you're all done? Like tested to make sure it's accurate?
No, it should be good as long as I know, as long as I line the needle up at the same exact spot.
Oh, okay.
When I put it back on that it was when I took it off, I should be fine. Because the new face for the speedometer is the same exact pattern. It's just a different color.
Nice.
So
that's super cool. I had all kinds of plans for the Mini Cooper to go into the shop for like a month and a half, and now it's not going to be able to because of Mike's car. But so now I've got to go find a place to get the oil changed today because I just need that done. At least I don't think it hasn't been done since like 2019.
on his car?
No, on the Mini Cooper.
Oh.
But it didn't get driven until I got it. So like on the window sticker, it still says I have like 3,000 miles. But then I looked at the date it was supposed to be changed, and it was supposed to be changed April of 2020.
Yeah, kind of the rule is either mileage or once a year, whichever comes first.
Yeah, well, it's been about too many years now. So I did have Tom looked at it the other day, and he said it's really low. So I got to go at least get that changed because Michael has to drive that while his car's in the shop. But I had all kinds of big plans to do a bunch of work on it, but I'm gonna have to wait now. I'm gonna do some exhaust work and some pulley work.
Yeah, Mini Coopers, you got to keep a little bit of a close eye on the oil levels.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully I can take it today. Poor little guy. And then I'm gonna get the wheels done now, I think, sooner than later.
Well, here you go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
It's always a early wake up after a holiday weekend, isn't it?
Right?
A little bit extra craziness thrown in.
It just happens.
Yeah. It was good though. It was a good Easter.
Yeah. I heard you guys had some fun. Did you get some rest?
Yep. We did our Easter egg hunt, and with teenagers, they just happen at about 1. They're not in the morning. But yeah, we had a good time. Kids were troopers.
Does the Easter eggs get more expensive?
They were really expensive this year. And then with 2 kids, they argue over, who gets more money. But we hid we hide the same amount of money in the front and the back. and then each kid starts one front, one back, and then there's a timer, and then they get to switch. Well, Delaney left all the eggs with the pens in the back. Those are the ones she didn't find. So Tristan found like $40 in the backyard after she had the backyard. And so that didn't go over well. But yeah.
Oh, got to rethink how that works next year.
Yeah. Maybe like a 10-minute timer instead of a 3-minute timer.
Yeah, that could go real bad. Well, my kids don't even care. If they saw money, they're like, oh, cool. And then they're like, ooh, chocolate.
Yeah, you're still in the candy phase. Wait till you're in the money phase. You'll get there.
Yeah. Well, It was a great weekend. And looks like we have a bunch of people popping on here.
Yes.
Rennie's on here.
Good morning, everyone.
And good morning.
Oh, Hans is detailing an Audi RS4. Man, I love all those RSs. Such fun cars. Love them. Not a huge Audi fan, but I love the RS series. They're very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Well, should we get into it? So let's see. Let's talk about, let's just dive into our products. And then I want to make sure we really cover our events after we get through our products, because we have a lot of events over the next 2 weeks. So, so what, obviously everything's been, I'm sure you guys have seen our social media and everything. We're super excited about the OffRoad line. So obviously everything's been all about the OffRoad line, but let's talk about what products we've used in the last couple of weeks on details that have stood out.
Sounds good. Well, I took the Razor out last weekend and went and took a bunch of pictures using the OffRoad line. And I had a lot of fun with my family doing that, playing in the dirt. And I love how Full Send just is a nice leveling plastic rubber tire. Yesterday I sold my daughter's quad and I had Full Send on the whole thing. I soaked everything, the frame, the chain, the under fenders, the seat, everything had Full Send. And then I let it self level and buffed it down. And the guy looked at it and said, oh, you take good care of your stuff. I want this. So I really liked how it looked. It made everything look natural and nice and glossy. But the product I wanted to talk about today that saved my booty last week was EnviroClean. I usually use Express Interior when I do a boat, but the boat I did has been sitting for 3 years, and about 2 years ago there was a really bad fire in the area, a wildfire, and the owner hadn't looked inside underneath the cover, and the entire boat was covered in gray and dark ash. So the boat stunk like smoke, and the vinyl did not want to come clean with Express, and so EnviroClean did the trick. So awesome. I still love that EnviroClean.
Yeah.
It works well on so many problems.
Yep. Cool.
What's up, Jamie?
So it was funny as I was going through my list of products and kind of what stood out. I made myself laugh because all of my answers were one of the OffRoad line, which is hilarious because I don't really work on off-road vehicles, right? But obviously I have them, so it's been fun to play with them, and they're obviously totally okay to use on regular cars too, right?
Oh yeah.
And so, living here in Idaho, we do have the desert. Well, we've had all 4 seasons in the last 2 weeks. Part of every day has been all 4 seasons. It's been insane. So we've had rain, wind, dust, pollen, snow, ice. We've had everything. And so the cars have been filthy. There's been all kinds of stuff on the top, on the bottom. It's just been nuts. So I have been using the OffRoad line and really enjoying the wide open wash, which Kyle, I don't ever do foaming or bucket washes. So I've been kind of playing with that. That's been really fun. But the one that I keep grabbing for is the cockpit cleaner. Man, I love that stuff. It smells so good. And what did we decide we think it is? Like a lemon verbena?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lemon smell.
Yeah, yeah, totally love it, and I just feel like, I've had a lot of cars with dogs in them this past week I did, and they all had those slobber stains down the door panels that just, take forever to get out. Normally, I have to grab my steamer to get them out, but the cockpit cleaner, I was just spraying it on, using my Detail Factory brush, and they would just wipe right clean. So I even used it on just a couple, maintenance details that I wasn't really even supposed to be cleaning up that kind of stuff, but it was so fast and easy to wipe it off the door panel that it was so awesome. I really, really am enjoying using that product, and, I think I had to refill my bottle 3 times last week, which is kind of crazy that I went through that much. The pint, of course.
It had a
Um,
nice suds to it, though. I really
yeah,
like how it
yeah,
suds
and
up.
it just leaves behind a really nice finish. I mean, it's kind of like Express in the fact that it doesn't leave behind anything greasy or oily or soapy, but it just like, the panels just almost look like they don't even need dressed. They just looked perfect. And, yeah, so really loving the cockpit cleaner.
Yeah, we're hearing a lot of good
Yeah,
feedback
yeah,
from everyone now that it's out into the world.
right.
Um, some really good points that people have brought up,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
I think we may be doing some
Mhm.
added tweaks to improve
Mhm.
upon them over time.
Yeah.
We've had some ideas to even make it better, so you'll have to stay tuned for those. it'll be
Yep.
it'll be sorry, my family's getting up, getting ready. Um, yeah, it's really cool to see everyone out and about using it.
Mhm.
And we did a podcast, or Keith and I did a
Yeah.
Q&A with the guys from Road FS the other
Mhm.
day,
Yeah.
and we just kind of sat there and marinated on the
Mhm.
names and how
Yeah.
cool the names are,
Yeah.
and that's one thing that we're really proud of: the names, the product.
Yep.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, and,
Morning.
Jamie's here this morning, Jamie the cleaner, and he, has done a lot of if you guys haven't seen, he's done a lot of great, videos on the off-road line too, so I just wanna say thank you to that for that, but, I did see a comment by him the other day that just made me laugh that said, because 'cause you'll love this, Kyle, he said, "Full Send wins the Scent of the Year award," which I totally agree. It smells so good, so good, so
I
kinda
I don't know.
creamsicle.
Cockpits up there. It's
Yeah,
close
yeah,
for the cleaner scent of the
mhm,
year and the
yeah.
dressing scent of the year. Those are our
Yeah.
winners.
Yeah, they're so good. So, so, so good. Um, and then, yeah, so everybody, check out those. There's a couple really great videos that have come out. So Jamie's review on the off-road, and then definitely go check out on the RotaFest. And we'll try to link this. I think I did share it on the PNS page the other day, the link for the webinar with RotaFest. That was really good. You guys had, just I mean, I know we've done a couple now, but there was some extra commentary on that was really, really good, kind of diving into the products. I know, all of these are so new, and it's a new kind of untapped area. And so for those of us that just want to keep learning about this line, check those out, because we, keep getting little nuggets and little uses in all of those. And that was a really, really good podcast.
It
So,
was fun with those guys. They even
yep.
lost the internet for a
Yep.
minute,
Yeah, it
and
was a
Keith and
really
I
good
just
one.
kept the
So
show
go check
going.
that out. We put the link up on our PNS Facebook page, actually. And I'll put a link in the Instagram stories later. Um, so real quick, since we're on that, we can answer this question. Hans asked, what does pit stop smell like? And would you
Um,
say it's better compared to paint gloss?
it's different. It's well, in that podcast we talked about how it's a little thicker than paint gloss. It has more body to it,
Mhm.
because we knew it was going to be out in a really dry environment, and lifting a lot of dirt and dust. And as far as the fragrance goes, it's kind of a island mango-y type smell.
Mhm.
Um, we really got to get Dave to you tell us the names, or even like we got to come up with our own names
Mhm.
for these,
Yeah.
and give those names something, because
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fresh island smell, for a
Yep.
pit stop, and I like it a lot.
Yep.
I mean, I love the smell of Bead Maker. I love the smell
Mhm.
of a lot of our products, but that one's
Mhm.
definitely different.
Yep. Yep. The only one that doesn't have a smell is Mudbuster, but maybe we can get Dave to put something fun in there.
Yeah, Mudbuster, it was more because of, the
It's
type of
the
degreaser
type of
cleaner
cleaner
it
it is. Yep.
is.
Yep.
Doesn't really ever have fragrances, but I
Mhm.
don't know. We'll see.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, we have a ton of off-road questions. So let's cover real quick our events. We have an entire list of events. Chris, I'm going to need your help on this one because I'm not going to remember everything off the top of my head.
Ooh,
But
I may not either.
okay, well, let's all three, we'll try to scramble our brains. So let's just talk about what we know. So I know that I have an event coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend. So the 29th and 30th, I will be in Salt Lake at Budco with Shad Stoker. And then they just announced the other day that Bob Phillips will be joining us. So that's super exciting. We are going to be doing a coding class at Budco on Saturday the 30th. I know that Prentice St. Clair is going to be in Monterey the 28th and 29th, I believe, right, Chris? I know all of us are somewhere that week. So
Yeah.
I want to say his
I'm-
is the 28th, 29th. He's doing the detail skills class. And,
Yes, that's
at
correct.
Central Coast PNS.
In the Monterey area in
Yeah.
Seaside.
Yep. He'll be at Central Coast PNS. So check that out if you guys are in that area. Kyle, where will you be that week?
Rennie and I are going to be doing a inspiration ceramic coating open garage at detailing.com
Cool.
on the 28th in Irvine, and the information's on their Instagram. And then I will be doing a ceramic coating certification at Hot Wax on the 2nd
Okay.
of May at Hot Wax in Stanton. So we got that week and leading into the next week, it's pretty busy.
Yeah. And then I know we've got Keith. He sent me his schedule, which is super helpful. So Keith will be doing a coding class in Medford, Oregon on April 29th at TNT Distributing. And then he also has a coding class in Long Island at B Squared on May 16th. And then he'll be at WoWo in Boston on the 20th of May. So
Cool.
lots of stuff upcoming. I know we've got more stuff in May, but
Yeah, Keith and I have been trying to make another event happen out for Arizona, but I've been having a hard time with the venue. It has to be able to fit a large vehicle. So I'm working on that today. And then into June. June is crazy.
a lot going on
We
in
can
June.
talk about June a little bit too, between Southern Detailers Conference and your event.
And then the boys, Rennie and Bob, are going to be going to Waxstock, which is super cool. Yep. And then
we
that
have
same
a
weekend,
global SV event for the IDA happening at PNS. Man, what else? When's the Auto Geek event happening at PNS?
that is June 23rd, 24th, I believe, in Hayward.
So between the end of this month and May and June,
yep,
there's a lot happening all
kinds
over
of
the
stuff.
place.
Yep. Yep. So just watch our social media. We post all of the classes and events, especially watch our stories. A lot of that stuff goes in our stories with all the links, easy links to sign up and everything. And then, the one I know we forgot is Chris, help me with this one. The Extreme One Days happen in May.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we have all those coming up too. So
yeah. So just a little side note, I'm working on an events calendar with Ian for the website. But we've run into some issues getting that to work right.
Okay.
But what do you call it? Extreme One Day. Let's see. On the 23rd of this month, just coming up this coming weekend, Justin Lobato's got one in Melbourne, Florida.
Okay.
And then on the 7th, we are doing the one in Big Bear with Rennie. And then on the 21st of May, the rest of the training centers nationwide are doing theirs. So New Jersey, Indiana, Texas, what do you call it? Atlanta, Georgia, Phoenix, Arizona. I think that kind of covers it. So those will be on the 21st. Okay. This time we couldn't make them all land on the same day. So they're spread out a little bit.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, we'll cover those for you guys every time we're on here, but just make sure you watch our social media, watch for, that we always have links in our, especially on Instagram, we have a link tree that has all of that stuff. So just make sure if you're trying to get to a class or an event, just make sure to keep posted on that.
And we have a, Prentice is doing a ceramic coating training in Iowa.
Oh, that's
also
right.
on May 13th.
Yes. That will be awesome.
That's
with
at
Josh.
Carousel Auto appearance with Josh Pierce.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
There's crazy talk happening all over here right now. Are you watching this?
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about blue Bead Maker.
Yeah.
And,
There's a lot going on in the comments over there.
Yeah.
So Wide Open Throttle has a car show at Andretti's in San Antonio on the 24th. Is that the 24th of this month?
I believe so.
I think it is. That's awesome.
Is that a Park and Shine event then?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is. I haven't seen them post up anything yet though.
Yeah.
But they are doing it.
That's
that
awesome.
I'm aware of.
I heard about that. Yes, I did hear about that on a webinar. That's awesome. Very cool. So yeah, we've got a lot coming up. It's going to be a busy spring heading into summer.
Well, let's get into some questions because we could talk about our schedule forever.
Yeah, but we've got a lot going on over there in the comments. Let's get started.
Yeah.
So we already answered this one, Chris. That was the one I kind of just pulled out.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm responding to people on other stuff here.
No, that's totally fine. I answered that, and then we had a ton of questions come up about the off-road line, which is great.
So here was the first one that came through.
Perfect. Okay, so Mike's Auto Detailing says, what is the difference between the off-road lineup and the regular lineup?
So the off-road line is, very easily used by professionals, but is directed to the prosumer, DIY, and enthusiast market for those people who want to clean their rigs, their dirt bikes, their quads, their snow machine, their side-by-side, their Jeep, whatever. It's geared towards a market that hasn't really been focused on. Even though it works great in either way, you could use the off-road line if you want on your Lamborghini or your Harley, but it was developed for that. The sizes are also, meant for that area of the market. With pints, we have 32-ounce bottles available, and then we have gallons. They're not going into the 5s or the big drums for this line. And it's going to be great for our distributors to be able to take care of off-road shops that don't have something in there like this, which is going to be great. But the difference as far as the products go is we started with the end result in mind of what we were trying to achieve and the fragrance and the color. And then we sent the mad scientist on a mission, and he brought us samples, and he did great. We talked about the thickness of the products, between like Wide Open all-terrain wash. We wanted it to be a thick soap that worked well in a bucket, but also works well in a foam cannon with a nice fragrance. We said we want something that's gonna not contribute to rusting. So Dave added a rust inhibitor to that. And I believe that that may work its way into other products over time. And because we found out it works so well, we're kind of excited for that. We said we want an interior cleaner that has a really nice, fresh smell, actually really powerful smell, because of how gross these things can get and how they can smell. That won't dry out vinyl or leather or plastic trim. And same thing with Pit Stop. We said we need a quick detailer, but paint gloss is not the answer. So we had Dave completely make a new product that is thicker than paint gloss would be. You could probably still clay with Pit Stop, no problem, but it's going to be different. We wanted it to have a lot of gloss and lifting ability, kind of between a quick detailer and like a rinse or a waterless wash is where I would put pit stop. It's not quite the same. And then full send, we started with the color and the fragrance on that one. We said it needs to be orange. No one's doing orange. And we need it to be that dream creamsicle smell. And we need it to be a nice dressing that goes on powder coating, goes on tires, goes on rubber, but we don't want it super glossy because we don't want lots of dust to stick. We want it to self-level and dry. And so that was Dave's assignment, and he did great. So in answer to the question, we gave the answer first to Dave, what we needed, and he designed everything else.
Yep. So yeah, like Kyle said, you can, it's specifically designed for the off-road community, but of course you can, both can be used on both. We just wanted something that was simple and easy to understand and, but for me, like I look at how I've been using it. And again, I'm not using it on, side by sides or anything, but it's just been fun to use. It's fun to have, and yeah, the sensor fun.
When a
I can
product
see where
is
there's a place
specific
for it for detailers too, just because it, when you do have that car come in that's covered in mud or the inside, is just like a hunting vehicle. And I get those all the time. And so it's just kind of nice to have something that, is just a little bit more geared towards that type of situation.
When you're a detailer and you take the time to explain things to your customer, hey, I'm using a product that was meant for this, or we'll say Alcantara cleaner, right? If there's an Alcantara cleaner out there, which I've used the Sonex one, literally it says it on the bottle. When you show someone that, they're like, ooh, this guy uses a product specifically for me. So as a detailer, you could totally use the off-road line in your own business and let people know, this is meant for off-road vehicles. It's a selling point. Maybe you're going to sell some of the product yourself to them after you use it and they see how much you're enjoying it or how it smells. So
and that F-250 that I did that was covered in dirt and mud and rain. I joked with him when he came and picked it up and he was like, man, it looks so good. And I go, and I was, kind of joking about how dirty it was. And I was like, I had to pull out my off-road line to get this thing cleaned up. So, I mean, it can be,
That's funny.
kind of it's kind of been a funny interaction with some of my customers on, that I give them a bad time that I had to pull out my off-road stuff and they just laugh. So.
That truck was bad.
Yeah, really bad. All right, next up we have Ivan with, hello. So I use microfiber applicator to polish exhaust tips. I'm curious what you guys do for chrome polishing.
You want to start or I'll take it. Chrome
no, you
polishing.
Take it.
Chrome, you can only polish so much, right? Chrome is a coating. And so there's different ways to clean it. You can use a metal polish with an applicator like you're using. You could use a metal polish with a polishing wheel on a drill, but you're never going to be able to cut it. You're not going to get scratches out of it. You can actually scratch chrome if you overcut. So stick with the metal polish. When I deal with chrome, then I know it's chrome and it has calcium deposits or a lot of buildup, I tend to pull out my water spot remover and hit it with acid, because once you clean chrome with acid, it looks gorgeous, and I deactivate it afterwards. I've done that on exhaust tips. And you know what I just did the other day? Because I told Sydney I got my drill brush and it has like one of those cone drills. I sprayed some acid inside of an exhaust pipe all over it, and then I put my drill brush in there and drilled it. Man, that hole looks so good. The edges were so nice. I'm going to do that all the time now.
Nice.
And then I just took a microfiber and I put it around the exhaust tip and I just kind of buffed it down and rinsed it off. So that's how I use, I use our metal bright is what I would say, our metal polish on chrome.
And I use Clarity Cream.
Ooh.
So Clarity Cream also works really, really well on chrome. Now, I would say that if it's in pretty rough shape, I would still do exactly what Kyle's saying, to start with an acid, get them cleaned up, and then polish them up with the Metal Bright. But for just general chrome polishing, and especially on tips that are in pretty good shape, I always just grab a microfiber applicator and the Clarity Cream, and it is so good on chrome. I absolutely love it. And I use it on like the chrome running boards all the time. And it's just so fast and easy. And it's amazing how much it cuts off so quick. And it just leaves behind such a bright shine. So, that probably just goes to, they both work great. Me, I'm just like Clarity Cream's #1 fan. So that's what I grab for chrome, and it works so good. So yeah. So kind of just, whatever you have in your arsenal. But it sounds like you're, on the right track with the microfiber applicator. I think that's a safe way to go.
Just make sure you know the difference between chrome, aluminum,
Yeah.
titanium,
Yeah.
coated aluminum.
Mhm.
You can mess up metals if you're not careful,
Yeah.
and you can't sand chrome, but you can sand aluminum. I mean, there's different ways of doing things. So just make sure you understand the surface you're working on.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Cool. Got another
I'm looking for the
question?
next one. Here we go.
Gloria says, do you have products to clean and protect Corvette canvas tops?
Yeah, so we do have a couple products that could work well there. One, cleaning wise, I would use a very soft boar's hair brush, or even like a like
I like
the
those.
auto fiber scrub
Yeah.
ninjas.
Yeah.
And I would probably use carpet bomber for this. It's gonna lift and do it during your wash process.
Mhm.
After you've cleaned it thoroughly, got all the dirt, maybe the little bee poop. I see the fun
Yeah.
with bee poop all the time, or pollen. And it's all completely clean. You agitated it nicely. Don't go hard on it. You don't want to damage the fibers.
Mhm.
Let it dry. You can blow it dry, but you're still going to have to let it dry either in the sun, or just let it air out for a while.
Yeah.
And in order to protect it, one of probably a few options would be our Inspiration fabric coating. I would cover all the paint with some plastic and go ahead and just give it light coats, spritz it on. Wear a latex gloves, or whatever gloves you prefer, and wipe it in. Allow it to dry. Do it again. I do it at least twice, if 3 times if you want, and that's a good way of making it waterproof and protecting it.
Mhm.
Now, if it's really old Corvette and the fibers are just, if it's black, right? If it's super dry, super dull, if you don't think protecting it with a fiber or our Inspiration fabric coating is going to work, I've actually used natural finish to bring
Mhm.
back the shine and make it look good.
Yeah.
It's not a long-term protection; it's very
Mhm.
short-term. But because natural finish is a water-based dressing, it
Mhm.
works really good on nylon and
Mhm.
those types of products to make
Yeah.
them look black. What would you do, Sydney?
That's almost exactly that. I love the carpet bomber suggestion. That's what I do too. And I use one of the boar's hair. I know Color Lock has them, and now the Rag Company has them. They're like the long stick with the kind of short boar's hair on them. Those work really good, just because, especially here, we have a lot of the, like you say, the bee poop, and it, gets way down in the fibers if it's not protected. So that does a really good job at agitating that and making it able to rinse. And so that's exactly what I do, is I grab the carpet bomber and a brush like that, and just, scrub, rinse, totally let it dry. And then I'm usually always applying the Inspiration fabric protectant, just because it works so well, and it keeps that material from being able to go back down inside for the next time. Then it literally, you can wipe it off with Epic or something like that. So I just noticed on the convertibles that I do that makes such a huge difference. So, really a lot of times I just throw that in for the customer because it makes my job easier the next time. So I love that process. The carpet bomber and the boar's hair is it's a really, really good cleaning process. Cool. All right. Up next, we have Abraham with any recommendations on leather repair workshops. So I mean, there's hopefully one in all, metropolitan areas. The thing that I know that, when it comes to leather repairs, you want to make sure that you are researching their work, kind of seeing what the before and afters are, because this is something that, I've had a lot come into my shop that are not great repairs. It's kind of like paint rock chip repair where it can almost make it look worse later. So, for me, I like to go around to those shops and talk to them in person and see some of their work, see their shop, see what they're doing, before I start referring my customers out to those places. So that's really all I can say is,
Maybe
somewhere good.
Abraham's thinking of like a company, like a class.
Oh, workshops. Oh, I thought you meant
Workshops.
make sure
Yeah.
how to find shops. Okay, I read that totally wrong.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I know that there's different brands out there that have popped up
yeah.
over in the last couple of years that, are more noticeable. But yeah, it's not something I've ever gotten into. I don't see it being a big money maker for my clientele. I don't run into
Yeah.
problems often enough for me to make that investment.
Yeah, because like I said, I usually send my stuff out, because it is, I mean, even if you get into it, it's a huge investment in product and knowledge and all that kind of stuff. But I would say on this one to make sure you're following the rag company because I know that they had a leather workshop a couple years ago. And I believe they have talked about having some this upcoming year. So maybe just make sure you're following their social media and what options they're offering. I think that again, it's kind of like paintless dent repair, right? It's one of those things where it's a service that we could offer, but just the investment and the knowledge into the products to get going is, I mean, if you're really into that, go for it. But it's a tough side.
I think leather repair as far as depends on your market. If you're doing the types of vehicles that need it all the time, maybe you're doing dealership recon work, then yeah, you probably should look into it and invest in it. I'm doing a lot of newer cars, and if their leather is bad enough that I can't condition it, then I have an upholstery shop that I've referred people to.
Yeah.
And I let them deal with that.
Exactly.
There's one that I brought up on the screen called Leather Repair Company. They've been getting involved with our industry. They're doing a IDA meet and greet with Chris West pretty soon out here in Southern California.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool. So, okay, cool. Yeah.
But I think they're based out of Europe though.
Okay.
So anyway, that's one idea.
Awesome. Very good.
All right.
Let's see.
Cool. All right. So then we've got Gabriel. When is there a training in Europe? You can't keep us stupid. I know, Gabriel. Wouldn't that be great? So we have not talked about that, but we can definitely put it on the list. I know that Rennie and Bob are coming over, but I think that's just for wax stock. There won't be any trainings happening, but but we'll put that on the list, right?
Yeah. Add that to the list, the many things. Chris, you get Rennie out there doing that.
Yeah.
We actually have a long-term plan to expand detailing success to Europe.
Cool.
We even have a partner already kind of picked out, but it's going to take some time. And when I say time, it's like years. It's not going to be immediate.
Yeah. Yep.
So
hang in there, Gabriel. We'll help you from afar. All right. Gransky says, any idea how long until the new products will be available in Canada? So Kyle, I don't know if you have any insight on this. I did talk to Keith last week, and I know it is, kind of towards the top of his list of things he's working on. But I don't know if you know any more about that.
So the new product line, as far as the off-road line and a few of the other products that have recently come out, like Dressed,
Mhm.
I know that we do have distributors in Canada, and as soon as they order those products and they get them, should be available. I do a lot of the Instagram stories, and because of stories, I read a lot of the DMs, and there's a lot of people asking for products in Canada, and we do have some partners there. I also know that PNS does have our products available on Amazon in Canada, but it just takes a little time. We have to get them there and get them all set up for Amazon fulfillment.
Mhm.
So what I would do if you want specific products, go on our website, go to the Find Partner tab, and or distributor, find
Mhm.
out who the Canadian distributor is closest to you. I know
Mhm.
it's a big area,
Mhm.
and give them a call and order some products. And you may have to wait a little bit, but that's
Mhm.
the only suggestion I can give you at the moment.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not sure if Auto Geek does international sales. They may. I've heard they do for certain things.
Mhm.
So you may need to look there as well.
Yeah.
That's all I got for Canada. I
Yeah.
it's a constant question that comes up.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have the
Keith and I
answer
had a
for you.
conversation last week, and I know he's working on it. So I
Yeah,
know there's some behind the scenes things that need to be taken care of. And it's not as easy as it seems. So, but I know he's working on it. So hang in there. And then always this is with everybody and every question on when is this distributor or that distributor going to get the products. We really can't stress enough that you just have to ask the distributor, because if the distributor, they do their orders, they're in control of what products they carry. And so if they get enough people asking for it, then they're a lot more likely to bring it in. So I always tell people, don't wait for them to communicate with them and let them know that you really want the product. And then that, helps them figure out that they do have a market for it and they might bring it in sooner. So if they don't have anybody asking, they're assuming they don't have a market for it. So,
we have distributors that range from very new, young
mhm,
distributors to the
mhm,
industry that are very, very excited to bring in everything.
mhm,
And then we have legacy partners that have, relationships built over, 10, 20, 30, 40 years
mhm.
that are take a little bit longer to bring in the new stuff. So you have to build the hype to them,
Yeah.
because otherwise they're happy selling the same stuff they've sold for a long time, because
Yep.
it's they're making a good profit. They sell to their car wash or their detailer, their body
Mhm.
shops, and you're the new guy wanting stuff. You give them a call and say, hey, on your next order, can I get a gallon, or can I get a 5 gallon, or can I get 4 gallons? Because everything comes in case
Right.
quantities. It's really easy to order a case,
Yeah.
and get them excited about it and have them order it. I'm sure they want to make the sale. Uh,
Mhm.
it's not like they're going to refuse to make a sale. You just may need to be patient until they get it in.
Yep.
All right. What's up next, Chris?
All right. We've got Hans. Kyle, how is that RV compound? And would it work on campers? Is it a heavy cut? He's doing around 200 campers per year. Wow. That's a lot.
So, yeah, if it's fiberglass camper, not full paint, I mean, it will work on paint, but it's intended for the fiberglass gel coat or single stage paint, not clear coated. It works great. It's not a compound. It's not going to be a heavy cut. It is more of a medium to fine cut and polish, and so it'll work great for that. I like to adjust it. I did a class last week. I can make it cut depending on the pad I use. So if I was to use PNS's twisted wool, or I think it's like the 2701 twisted wool, you can get a lot of cut out of it. If you want to back it off and go to a lamb's wool, a finer wool, you can get a medium cut to nice finish on a camper. But campers where you're at may be a little bit different than campers here. I'm not exactly sure the makeup. I'm pretty sure they're like a fiberglass, like a boat, actually. So you may need to get a quart of it and give it a try.
Yeah. All right, Luke. How do you handle a day where somebody either cancels or reschedules last minute? Do you try to fill it in? Do you work on your business, or do you enjoy a day off?
All the above.
Yep.
Depends on the day. If it's the beginning of the week and I'll usually try and call someone later in the week and offer them an earlier spot. I have other places where I could go.
Mhm.
So you would call one of your dealership accounts or your body shop accounts and say, hey, I have time. Or you would work on your business, do editing for videos or pictures, or pay your bills, talk to an internet marketing company. I have a meeting this afternoon with one, your website designer, or you take a day off and relax. If it's been a very hectic week or weeks and you need that, sometimes you just do it. But if someone cancels and they canceled last second and don't reschedule for a later date, charge them. You need to have a cancellation fee, even if it's minimal. If they won't reschedule, then they got to pay. So get them to reschedule, or because you cannot waste days like that. This is why doing coatings, you should get a deposit, because it prevents this. People are now locked in.
Yeah. So my answer to this is, if you find that you're having a ton of cancellations, so this is disrupting your business, I think that you want to try to isolate why there's the cancellations. So that's, that would be working on your business. Like, kind of try to figure out why are people canceling? Are you, scheduling too far out? What's happening in that process? Because I think for me, my advice is always get to the point where you have so few cancellations that you can truly just enjoy taking a day off. So, for me, I probably get, I don't know, 2 cancellations a year. And it's like party time for me if somebody cancels, so I mean, try to get to that point where there's so few that you can take it as, an enjoyed day off, or a really time to really hone in on working on your business. So one, if it is becoming a problem, definitely try to figure out what is the element that is causing so many cancellations. And it could very well just be your area. And like Kyle said, especially if you're doing coatings and things like that, definitely start, figuring out the deposit program. I don't do that, but I know there's a lot of guys that do. So, try to find a mentor or somebody that does that a lot, that's really familiar with how to run a deposit program. And, kind of figure that out. That might help you. And then go ahead.
Utilizing software has also helped me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have cancellations because my customers get a reminder the day before automatically.
Yeah, he says usually they have an emergency. So that's, I mean, a little bit of a cop out on the customer side. I mean, there's probably not that many emergencies. I think that's always the kind of standard answer when any of us are trying to get out of something. We say that we had an emergency pop up. I mean, I've used that myself. So I think probably I would, look at,
Well, if they have an emergency, they're willing to reschedule, right?
Yeah.
If it's not really
if it's a
an
true
emergency,
emergency, yeah,
they're not rescheduling.
right.
It
Yeah.
means they just didn't want to spend. So there is some psychology to this, and how people are. There's lots of books on this, Luke. I like to listen to books, sales books on Amazon, Audible. So, there's podcasts, there's lots of videos that teach you strategies how to deal with people. TikTok has it too. I follow a guy on TikTok that learns how to deal with people's concerns, how to make sales and avoid the, oh, let me talk to my wife, let me talk to my husband. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So those are resources you can utilize. But yeah, if it's happening a lot, then you need to get a software that'll help you give them better reminders and take a deposit.
Yep.
You can't let this ruin your business.
Yeah. And then my other suggestion for you in the meantime, until, you kind of get some of that other stuff sorted out, is keep a short list. And so, when you have customers that maybe have scheduled a week or two further out than they would have really liked, there's customers that I'll always and I say it kind of more for their benefit, but I'll say, I have you scheduled for May 25th, but, let me just ask you this question. In the event that I have something come up sooner, would you like me to contact you? Don't say a cancellation, just say, if in the event that I have something come up sooner, would you like me to contact you? Then you kind of have like a short list for these times. And I'll make notes about people that they work from home, or they, travel and their car is home by itself. I have that a lot in my area. And so, start keeping a short list so that these days don't disrupt your business. So I would do that first, start a short list, and then let's figure out why we're having so many cancellations.
And Roger Sandoval, mentioned that, people may say they're going to sell their vehicle. There was death in the family. Yeah. There's things that do pop up, and you got to be kind to people and understand that. Yeah. But sometimes people aren't as honest as they used to be. I'll say that, or as kind as they used to be, or value you. So you just got to figure out your program, what works best for you in your area. Like Sydney says, kind of get to know your customers so you know who has that vehicle just sitting in their garage that you could call up and say, hey, you said you wanted to coat that vehicle last month. I'm available today. Would you mind if I came over and did it? Oh, yeah, sure. I'll open the garage. I'm at work, whatever. I've done that. And and then I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to charge you the same price, but I'm going to go ahead and ceramic coat the wheels for you too. And because you allowed me to do it, give them a little value there. Say thank you. So,
Yep. That's awesome. He does follow up and say sometimes you just have to let people go, especially if they've rescheduled, and that's absolutely true. So I definitely have had that rule in my business.
Don't put them on the schedule till they pay on the second time.
Yeah. Yep. And I definitely, if somebody has, changed their appointment or something, I just let them know, hey, I'm a single person shop. This doesn't work for my schedule. It's probably best that you find another shop. I mean, I have no problem saying that, because obviously if those people have that habit, and we know that there's those people out there that, with service providers, they're just very flighty. And I know that you work a little bit like me, Luke, and we don't have the time in our schedule to work that way. So, we're not for everyone. Right? Yep. Everyone's not for us.
Good topic, Luke. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have Ramiro. Good morning from South Texas. Any recommendations to clean and restore the plastic flooring on construction trucks? This is a great question.
Did you do one recently, or was it Alex? Alex and I were talking about this.
Actually, yes, it was Alex. I think we were talking to him when we were on the phone. But yes, I do a lot of them.
Yeah, you do. I haven't cleaned a rubber floor construction vehicle in well over a year or two. It's been a while, but I used to do a lot at a body shop.
Yeah. So I do a lot of them. And to be honest, the ones that I have had have been covered in mud. I mean, covered. So honestly, what I do, and it works so great, is I use my extractor. So I will, and I mean, you could use your shop vac if you use it for wet purposes too, but I use my extractor. So I spray it down with like EnviroClean or Carpet Bomber, and I just get everything soaked, and then I spray it with the extractor and suck it up with the extractor. One, because I don't want all that dirt and mud in my towels. Absolutely no, because then the towel, I mean, I'm not going to wash them with that much mud in them, right? So I use my extractor. You could absolutely use a shop vac if you use it for, wet purposes. That's great. But I get it all wet, and then I suck it out. Obviously, you suck as much dry dirt as you can, right? So obviously I vacuum it first, but there's always a layer stuck. So I use my extractor, then I go back over it with like Carpet Bomber or Express and steam it and then wipe it up. And it always comes out great. And then I treat it to the restore part is I use Natural Finish. Again, because Natural Finish is a dressing that is, not slippery and greasy, it levels on its own. So I do the floor pretty early in the detail. Then I spray it down with Natural Finish, let it soak in as much as possible. And then I always go over it and completely buff it down. And they always come out great. They come out really, really nice. So they are one of the scarier things when you look at them. You're like, how am I going to get this clean? But they actually clean up really, really well.
Yeah, the carpet extractor on rubber floor mats is like the key. It is so much faster just to spray and suck that mud up.
Yeah.
I like to pop the plastic kick panels off on the edges because it's always going to be down there anyways.
Right.
And rinse it and just suck it all up. And then I go into EnviroClean, maybe a drill brush, boar's hair brush, and then suck it all up. But what I would do, the extractor makes it way faster.
Yeah, way faster.
I'll still use my steamer. I'll steam like the foot pedals because the pedals have like the caked in mud.
Yeah.
Between that and like a pick
and the extractor head doesn't get everywhere. So that's why I follow back up with the steamer. It really
get around the nuts and bolts or where the seats are bolted, that area, suck it out. What I'll do is I'll take the extractor head off and I'll just put a crevice attachment on the extractor still. And then I can just spray and then suck together and use the crevice tool to get under the seats and all the tight spots. So.
Yep. That's a great question. We haven't talked about those. All right. Next up, Inky says, I am seeing a lot of dust after detailing the exterior of a car. What do you recommend to lower the dust?
I know you have the answer. Go for it.
We love the dust question. So here's my philosophy on the dust after the detail. So because this comes up a lot, and I see it with every product I use. I live kind of in a desert area. It doesn't matter what we do. So my philosophy on why it looks so dusty is because suddenly it's so clean. So you notice it. So when my car's dirty, it gets just as much dust as a clean car. It's just we don't notice it when the car's already dirty. But when we detail the car, we're giving it this like partial mirror-like finish, super shiny. The customer's not usually used to seeing their car that way. So suddenly that normal layer of dust just from driving down the road appears more prominent. That's my philosophy on it. I do know that obviously, the cars do attract dust, but I can't figure out how you drive down a dirty road because all roads are dirty, right? How do you drive down a dirty road and not kick that up on your car? I don't know. And I don't know of any product that 100% repels dust. I will say, obviously, paint gloss, I'm a big fan of. It does have some anti-static properties, but nothing is going to totally make it not attract dust. So that's my philosophy.
Yeah,
you've got this crazy looking car
product that doesn't allow dusting. Like it's not like the car all of a sudden becomes a magnet for dust. But yeah, paint gloss would be my recommendation to circumvent that problem, that issue. That's the best thing we have to not allow any more dusting. All right, Chris, we got like 5 minutes left. Where are we going?
Let's see. Hold on.
Sorry, I lost my dog there for a second.
We received 100 messages today on your restream. chat.
Nice.
Ooh, we got like a little award.
There you go.
It's
That's
cool.
a good one.
All right. Abraham says, if you are cleaning the interior, will you include cleaning the door jambs? So this used to be something that I struggled with for sure. I tried to really define, is it part of the exterior? Is it part of the interior? So really for me, I've just given it up and I do it no matter what.
Yeah.
I do no matter what. It's such a visible part that people see, and I can't imagine leaving them. I tried to be defining about it with my customers, and if they only wanted an interior, only wanted an exterior, I was like, well, which way does it go? But I just do it no matter what. Even when a car comes in, and I don't do washes that often, but even when I'm washing it, I just do the door jambs. It's such a visual part, and it's something that I don't feel like I can let it leave with them dirty. So I just have given up, and I do it no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of that gray area
Mhm.
where you got to clean those and you got to do the glass.
Yeah.
What's the point of doing just cleaning the interior glass? You got to clean the outside glass.
Right.
So what I try and do on my interiors is try to upsell and make it at least an exterior wash with an interior. I don't
Mhm.
include it,
Mhm.
but I like to try and do that because it makes my life easy.
Yeah.
Especially cleaning, like say the interior's thrashed
Mhm.
and the windows are filthy on the outside. The other thing I started doing recently is I am not doing interiors only anymore.
Yeah. Same.
I'll do an exterior only, but I won't do an interior only. I'm doing exterior and interior together, even if it's just a basic wash, clay with a clay towel and bead maker, clay and seal.
Mhm.
Because what's the point of someone leaving and are you leaving their house and their car's dirty and then
Yeah.
their neighbor's like, I thought you had your car detailed.
Yeah.
The company looks bad when my
Mhm.
van pulls away from my house and the outside's dirty.
Yeah.
So I just started turning down just interior work. And usually if someone just needs the inside done and doesn't want to do a basic and they're like not a regular customer,
Mhm.
their interior is probably thrashed.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
probably trashed.
Yeah.
And so it's not good money for me anyways. There's other things I can do.
Mhm.
So may want to think about that. But yeah, always do the door jambs, always do the windows,
Yeah.
whether you're doing inside or out or just
Mhm.
outside.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome. Inky says, I keep getting told my prices are too high. How can I add more value to my service and then tell them it's not a car wash? That's probably maybe something that Kyle deals with a little bit more than me. He lives in an area where there is a lot of detailers that call themselves detailers, but it's basically just a wash. But I think that for me, depending on what your education and detailing, what that entails, how much training you've had. For me, that's what I use to set myself apart is I literally tell them what makes me different, how many years I've been in business, all the training programs I've completed. And then I let them know personality things too, that, how I'm going to care so much for their car, give it, personalized treatment. It's my only car that day. So I give them my selling points on what makes me different than other shops in the area. And, usually then I don't ever have anybody challenge me on price, but I also don't have those car wash guys that call it a detail in my area. So Kyle, I'm sure you face
Yeah.
that a lot more.
There's a bunch of variables there I would ask questions about. One, compared to what? And why are people saying your prices are too high? Are you in, we'll say, or where would be an area? Are you in a very low income area charging $150 an hour? Or are you in a very high saturated area with a lot of detailers? Or are people just saying that? So from New York, NYC, okay. So and why are they saying your prices are too high? Are you comparing your prices to your competitors? Are you a shop? Are you mobile? There's so many factors that we could throw in here, but this is what I would say. No, you're fine. I
That seems
mean,
totally
yeah,
fair. Yeah.
then stop doing washes and just do detailing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I don't have that problem because I don't do washing. I
Yeah.
found when you play in the gray area, when you are a wash and detail service,
Mhm.
um, people value you like a washer. But when you say, "Oh, I don't wash cars," my minimum
Mhm.
service, and I tell people this all the time, my
Mhm.
minimum starts at $150. They either are completely separated because they're like, "Oh, that's a
Mhm.
lot," or they're intrigued, wanting to know what's that 150 include.
Mhm.
And then I get to the chance to be the salesman and explain what I'm going to do to their vehicle, and you can make it sound super sexy, whatever you want to do. But if you have a nice mobile detailing setup and you look professional, and you bring your own spot-free water and you have your own power. I mean, $60 a bar is a bargain. I have that.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
guys out here doing washes for $30.
Yeah.
The problem is they're not going to be around very long, or they're going to lose those customers because they always end up realizing
Mhm.
they aren't making money.
Mhm.
Every year, I get a phone call from, I think, the same company in my local area wanting to see if I'm willing to come and wash
Mhm.
because they lost their wash guy because he stopped showing up
Right.
after a month or two
Yeah.
because he realized he wasn't making any money. He was spending an hour and a half for $30.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's many things that can come into that. I would say get involved in some of the good forums
Mhm.
on social media. Ask some questions, get some training.
Mhm.
We have a friend that is doing a training in Long Branch, New Jersey. Don't know how close that is to you, but it's probably the closest training. It's an extreme one day,
Mhm.
and the those are the places where you could ask those kind of questions and get professional answers just like this.
Mhm.
Um, Hopefully that helped you, but there's a lot more. But you gotta hold the line and stand up for
Mhm.
yourself and know your worth
Yeah.
and explain that to people. Oh yeah, I can't do it any cheaper. My
Yeah.
operating costs are this.
Yeah.
That's my minimum.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's gonna come with, make the list of what sets you apart, whether they're using automatic car washes or another car wash place, make a list of what sets you apart, and then just become really confident in that, and confidence, once you meet that opposition with confidence, they understand. If you come across as trying to defend yourself, it can seem a little bit, odd to them. So just be very confident in your prices. And, when they say that, you're just going to say, I can see how you would feel that way, but let me tell you why why I charge the prices I charge and why they're a better value than going here. And then go into everything that sets you apart. Just be really confident about it. And then, that answers their concern and you move on and it's great. So just
Anki,
keep. Mhm.
you live in an area that's not cheap,
Yeah.
and so everything costs a lot of money right now. Fuel costs a lot more in the last couple of years, and since you're
Mhm.
mobile, that's a huge factor.
Mhm.
I had a lady recently saying the same thing. Oh, that's a lot of money, and I said, "Are you new to California?" In the nicest way, I said because it costs a lot to do business here.
Mhm.
As you can see, fuel, and I said it in a nice way. As you can see, fuel prices are a lot, product costs are up, a lot, and
Mhm.
so that's just my cost of doing business. I have employees, I do payroll,
Mhm.
taxes, workman's comp insurance.
Mhm.
If you want to hire someone who's unlicensed, uninsured, who if they hurt yourself or hurt your vehicle, you're going to cover it, and
Mhm.
we ended up scheduling the appointment.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
use those sales tactics to help you make the job.
Mhm.
Cool. All right, let's
Yeah.
take one or two last questions, and then we got to get going.
Really good questions today. All
Yeah,
right, Roger, what do you think, or do you think having one or a few bad reviews shows other legit you're legit for no one's perfect? Um,
I got a couple bad reviews. I don't really care.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that, I think that a couple years ago, I think people used to really freak out about negative reviews. I think now in the environment that we live in, people are so used to there being keyboard warriors and, for lack of a better word, Karens out there, that people don't, they don't really hold a lot of weight with negative reviews, and most of us can see right through them. When I am looking at other detailers and their negative reviews, it's always like, I had to cancel and then they wouldn't reschedule me. Or, you can always read through the lines and see
Yeah.
that, but very rarely do you see somebody go, I paid them $300 for a detail and it was terrible and they wouldn't make it right. Those would be the reviews that I, as a consumer, would be worried about. And that's not generally what's out there. And so I don't think a couple negative reviews is bad. I think that we all know that there's just people out there now, unfortunately, that love to complain and love to try to sink people, that I don't think they hurt us like they used to. That's just, unfortunately, it's the environment that we live in now. I think that a lot of online things have encouraged people to leave reviews. So I think you always just combat that with your customers and ask them if they're happy to please leave you a review. I also think as consumers, we need to be aware of that. And I really try to be, if I go to a restaurant and receive really good service, I try to remember, like, call the manager and tell them how great, the cooks were or your service was, and I always try to do that as a consumer. Like, remember to say the good stuff too. And so always remember to ask your customers, like, hey, if you're happy with your service today, I'd love, because the more positive reviews you have are going to combat that negative review. And if somebody
Yeah.
sees you have 500 positive reviews and one person that said they didn't answer their phone when I called 5 times, it's going to totally counteract that. So
Yeah. People see through the petty reviews, like you were
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I have a guy that left a review that said, I never called him back.
Mhm.
And he literally was calling me on like Sunday night at midnight, So I
Yeah,
screenshotted it and added
yeah,
it to it. I'm
yeah,
like, I don't answer my phone at midnight. Sorry.
yep,
But yeah, people do see through the petty reviews. Sometimes they're a badge of honor. I
yeah,
had one person that said, Kyle does incredible work, but he's expensive. And I got like a 4 star. I'm like,
yeah,
well, okay.
yeah,
I wasn't mad. But yeah, you do want good reviews. I utilize a software that when I'm done with the job, 24 hours later,
mhm,
it sends my customer an email and gives them the links
mhm,
to my Google, my Yelp,
mhm,
and Bing, I think it is,
yeah,
asking them to give us a positive review.
mhm,
And some people do it, some people don't, but it makes it easy because I don't even have to ask. It just sends it to them automatically.
mhm,
And so, yeah, try and bury those bad ones, especially if you have a ton of good ones after and a ton of good before.
mhm,
It just kind of hides them, and people will go, "Oh, that must have been just
yeah,
a Ken or a Karen, or
mhm,
someone was having a bad day." People
yeah,
have bad days.
yep. So we got one more, Chris, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. Alan says, when do you use the enzyme spots and stain versus the carpet
Good
bomber?
question.
Yeah.
So the enzyme spot stain remover, which is Terminator,
Mhm.
I use it for every stain.
Yep.
If there's a stain, I'm putting Terminator on it.
Yep.
Um, and then I scrub it, agitate it, let it dwell. Then we do
Mhm.
carpet bomber. The
Yep.
only time I don't use it is if there's not a stain.
Mhm.
Then I just go straight to carpet bomber.
Yep. Yep, same. I just, as a general rule, I use both of them because we have no idea what's there, right? So anytime I'm working on stains or doing carpet, everything gets fully treated with Terminator, everything gets fully treated with Carpet Bomber, because we honestly have no idea what's underneath the carpet, what's in it. So I use both of them together, all the time. And like Kyle said, the only time I might not use it is if I'm not really cleaning the carpets, but there's literally just, a quick stain, I might just grab the carpet bomber and wipe out that one stain. But if I'm fully cleaning carpets or fabric, 100%
Yeah.
everything. And always the enzyme first, never opposite. Never do carpet bomber first and then the enzyme. The enzyme always has to go first.
Because it's not going to, carpet bomber is not going to allow the enzyme to actually work at its
Yeah.
full effect.
Yeah.
And so that's why you want to use Terminator first. And then one thing that always gets overlooked, and people, I don't know if they just don't want to spend the money on it, but a huge part of the system is using finisher to what's the word I'm
neutralize. Oh my gosh, that is ruining my house. Neutralize the surfactants so that the stain doesn't reappear, because carpet bomber does have, a soap to it, a surfactant, which is going to take the dirt off of your shoes, and it's going to make it it's going to attract the dirt and make the stain reappear. And so you always want to use the finisher to neutralize both the Terminator and the bomber. And, it just kind of does that final freshening of the carpet, brightening, and just, neutralizes everything on the carpet. So you definitely want to, it's a 3-part system. Use all 3 parts for sure for best results.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, that was a great Bead Maker and Coffee. Lots of great questions.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to our social media. Check out all of our classes on our link in the bio on our Instagram.
Yep.
And
so we are back here. I think it's like May 1st, right? Is that our next one? May 2nd. So we'll be back May 2nd. And like you heard at the top of the show, we will have all kinds of, we will have just done a bunch of trainings and open houses and stuff. So I'm sure we'll have lots of fun information, and stay tuned this week. Oh, here's one that we forgot, is stay tuned this Thursday on the Rag Company Q&A. Dave Phillips will be joining myself and the boys on the Q&A at the Rag Company, and we might just have a special announcement. So you definitely want to tune into that this Thursday, and it will be live on YouTube, and it is 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock Mountain Time. So that's 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. So make sure you tune into that. You won't want to miss the announcement that Dave and I have on Thursday. That'll be super fun. I almost forgot that was this week.
It may have been something that we wanted to show at TRCMA, just didn't have time to.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is going to be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. Great one there.
Cool.
And then when we do ours, I will literally have to finish and hop in the truck and bounce, because I have a class on May 2nd in Orange County at Hot Wax. So
oh wow, cool.
At 7:30, I'll be saying later.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys. Cool. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We will see you next time. As always, if you have questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to Kyle and I at the PNS Instagram or Facebook page. You can DM us on there and we will get back to you. And you guys have an awesome week.
See y'all.